Hi everyone and welcome back here. In this video I need to talk about the left toolbar. Let's talk about this toolbar and start from the beginning, from the selection box. As you see here we have this icon, and if you notice I have very small arrow right here inside the icon. That means we have hidden icon inside it. So if you hit left click and hold it, you will see the hidden option. If you want to switch between these options, you can hit W from the keyboard to swap between these options. So now I'm choosing the selection box. What is selection box? Let's go to add. You can go from here and add, or you can hit shift A. I like to hit shift A, and let's add cube. And as you see, the cube in the middle following the 3D cursor. And maybe we can duplicate this one. We will learn how to duplicate, how to move, but later, not right now. So hit shift D, for example. Let's put one here and one right here for now. So this is the selection box. If you want to select a geometry, you just need to hover over it and hit left click to select it. For example, this one. It is selected, and as you see here we have the color. It's orange color here, bright orange color. I'm gonna select this one, just left click on it. As you see, this one is the selected, and the same thing this one. You can use the selection box to select more than one box. You can put the mouse in any place here, hit left click and hold and drag to create this selection box and cover all of these boxes. And as you see now, we select all of these boxes. You can grab two or grab them all, grab one. That's gonna work. You can select them in another way if you like. You can, for example, let's grab this one. You can hold shift to add to the selection. I added this one. Hold shift again and add this one as well. So you have two ways to select these boxes. The first one, just to grab them like this, or grab one, hold shift to grab the number 2 and the number 3 like this. So this is the selection box and how it's work. If you want to deselect with the selection box, you can hold Ctrl to deselect this and deselect this one. So this is how it work. For add, hold shift and add, and if you want to deselect, hold Ctrl and deselect what you want. Alright, now let's switch to the tweak option here. This one is different. We don't have a selection. If you click, hold and drag, you will notice that I didn't have any selection box like the previous one. So this option is just work when you click on the object, and it will move it directly because it's a tweak. It's called tweak. So it's help you to click and move at the same time. I'm not using this option too much. I'm using this one very little, so I prefer to keep it on the selection box. Alright, let's switch to another option here. We have the select circle. Let's activate it. Alright, now I have the circle. You can click on the geometry to select it if you like, or you can click and hold the left click and move the circle on the geometry like this, and they will be selected and added. You can control the radius from the option right here. From here you can change the radius, make it big or small. So let's make this about 50. Hit enter. As you see now the circle become bigger. Let's change this to 100. Now it's become very big. So this is how it works. And we have the select lasso. Select lasso, as you see here from the icon, It's give you a free way to draw your selection. For example, I need to select this box and this one, but not this one. So just click and hold, left click, and draw the selection around the geometry that you want, and that's it. Let's work like this. It's a very nice selection if you want to use it. I'm not using the lasso too much. I always use the selection box. Okay, now let's go to the next tool. I'm not going to talk about the 3D cursor. This tool has many benefits, but in the future lectures we will cover it and understand it more and more. But right now let's jump to the move tool. Activate it, just hit left click on it to activate it, and as you see now we have the gizmo. We have the gizmo for this box because this box is activated or selected. If you select this one, it will jump to this one. If you select this one, the same thing happen. Alright, let's understand this gizmo. Here we have red direction and green direction and blue direction. The red direction, it's the x-axis, and the color is similar to the grid color. As you see here, we have red line here. That means this axis is the x-axis. The green one is the y-axis, and the same thing is exists here on the grid. And we have the blue one is the z-axis, but as you see in the grid is not exist. You can go to the viewport overlay here, and you can activate the axis. X-axis activated and the y, and you can activate the z if you want to see the blue line. For me, I'm gonna leave it off like this. Okay, if you want to move the box toward the x-axis, grab the x-axis and move it like this. As you see now, I can move the box to the x-axis. The same thing to the y. Grab it from the y. If you move the mouse close to the arrow, it will be highlighted as you see here. You can move the box to the y, and the same thing to the z. Here we have a small rectangles here, the red one, the green one, and the red and the blue. That means now you can, if you hold this small rectangle or square, you can move the objects on the x and z axis at the same time. So let's use this. As you see now, with the z axis and the x axis are activated, you can use the red one to move the object to the y and to the z like this. Now the z and the y activated. The same thing here for the blue one. You can move it to the x and to the y. So this is the move tool. You can grab this one in the center to move it in all direction. The white circle, that means you can move the geometry in all direction. You can move 2 objects or 3 objects. You can make a selection, and as you see now, the gizmo is become in the center of these 2 objects. You can move them like this to the x or to the y or to the z. You can grab 3 and move them. Alright, so this is for the move tool. If you want to move these objects by using this icon, okay, that's cool, but you can use the shortcut G. For example, left click on this box. I'm not gonna use this axis. I'm going to hit G. If you hit G, just G, that means you are moving the box from the circle alone, G alone. But if you want to move this cube on the x-axis, you can hit G to move, and X, hit X from the keyboard to specify the axis like this. You can hit G and then hit Y to move the cube on the y-axis. the same thing, G, Z, to move it to the Z. There is another way. You can hit G and click the wheel of the mouse and move the mouse toward the x-axis like this to move the geometry on the x-axis. The same thing for the Y. G and hit the wheel button and move the mouse toward the Y. And as I said, you can know where's the Y and where the X from the lines that we have here on the grid. And the same thing, you can use this pivot right here. It will teach you, or from it you can understand where is the X axis direction and the Y and the Z, and the positive X and the negative X. If you hover over here, you will see that I have minus X, that's mean the negative X, and this one the positive X. The same thing for the Z and the for the Y. Alright, let's move this one to the Y. Hit G and you can hit Z to move it to the Z, or you can hit the wheel mouse and move it up to move it to the Z axis. This way, I mean, to determine the axis by using the mouse wheel, it's a bit tricky. You need to practice it to understand it more and more. So this is for the move. Alright, let's jump to the rotate. If you activate the rotation tool here, we will notice that I have these option here, the X, Y, and Z manipulators. So if you want to rotate this around the X-axis, rotate it. Just grab the red curve and move the mouse like this to rotate it. If you want to rotate to the Y, the same thing, and to the Z as well. And here we have this big white circle. That means you will rotate the cube according to the view. Alright, according to the view. And this scale, before we jump to the scale, let's talk about the shortcut of the rotation. You can hit R to rotate according to the view, and if you want to rotate this to the x-axis, hit RX to rotate to the x-axis, rotate to the y, RY, and RZ to rotate to the z-axis. And notice when we activate the axis, you will notice that I have a line referring to the axis that I activated. For example, RZ, RX, RY. When you hit the button, you will see the axis. The same thing for scale. Go to the scale, activate the scale. Let's pick this one. Alright, you can scale it to the Y, to the X, hit right click to cancel it, to the Z, the same thing, and you can scale it to the X and Y, Z and Y, sorry, and X and Z, and the same thing for the XY, like this. And you can scale it from the center, make it very big, and this big circle as well, give you the same result. Or if you don't like to use this icon, you can hit S to scale and choose the axis, scale it to the X, scale it to the Y, scale it to the Z, and that's it. Alright, let's jump to the next icon. This one is called transform. If you activate it, you will see it's combined of the move and rotate and scale. All of them exists in this one. So now you can move and rotate and scale in the same time with this tool if you would like to use it. So this is how it works if you would like to use it. There's a nice trick if you want to activate it. You can keep your mouse on the select box and make it always active, and you can go to this option right here. It's called Gizmo. Open it, and then you will find Object Gizmo. You can activate the move and the rotate and the scale, and you can specify what what you want from them. If you want to move, activate it, rotate it, and scale, the same thing. You can activate them all. So this is very nice trick. Maybe you want to activate the move and rotate, so turn off the scale, and now you have a new gizmo consist of move and rotate. So I'm going to turn off this one and this one as well. For me, I like to use the key. I think using the key is very fast, or let's say it's faster than using this option. If you come from Maya or 3D Max and you used to use these option, just activate them and use them. That's it. I'm not gonna talk about the annotate right now and the measure. Let's jump to this option right here. It's very important and it is new to the Blender. Alright, let's activate this option right here. As you see now, we have the cube icon here. We can add a cube. How to use this? It's like a 3D Max if you are a 3D Max user. As you see, we have a grid. This grid help you to draw the cube on any surface. So right now I can draw my new cube on the grid. You can draw your new cube on this side of this cube, or this side, or this side of this cube. As you see, the orientation of the grid is changing depending on the surface. Alright, as you see here and here as well. So how can I create a cube? By using this option, you can hit left click and hold and drag to determine or to specify the area, the length, and the width. When you accept it, leave the left click, release it, and move the mouse up or down to specify the height. When you accept the height and like it, you can hit the left click again, and there we go. Now we have a new box. Let's create a new one right here above this surface. Left click, hold, drag, and determine the area, and then release it, move the mouse to specify the height, and left click again. So now I can create too many boxes like this. Alright, now let's see what we have here inside this icon. As you see, we have very small arrow. That means we have hidden icon inside it. Click and hold, left click, to see the other option. I will choose the cone here. Just click and drag. As you see, the circle is not perfect. If you want to make it perfect, just hold shift and move the mouse. If you satisfied with the radius, release the mouse button and move the mouse up or down. Specify the height and then hit left click to accept the result. And you can draw cones anywhere you want, like what I'm doing. You can make the circle not perfect like this. Let's jump to another option. Here we have cylinder, the same scenario. Left click and hold, make the circle perfect, hold shift, and then release the mouse button and specify the height, and then left click to accept it like this. Alright, let's jump to the next tool. Here we have the UV sphere. The same thing. If you want to make it perfect, hold shift and create it, specify the height and accept it. You can hold shift when you create it, when you specify the radius and the height as well to make it perfect. Let's go to the last option here. The same thing. You can hold shift and create like this. Okay, so that's it. This is how to use the toolbar that we have right here, and these are all the important options that we have here. So that will do it for this video, and see you in the next one.